Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Newcastle have knocked Manchester City out of the League Cup. Out we go. A very disappointing night. The way the second half panned out was disappointing. But was Kalvin Phillips to blame? Really now, I think a lot of City fans have really hung him out to dry and stuck the knife in Kalvin Phillips and laid the blame firmly at Kalvin Phillips' doorstep as he's the only man to blame apparently. So I thought, well, let's investigate, let's have a look at that, and that's what these player ratings are for. But brace yourself, normally as City fans it's looking at all the positives and successful statistics that are associated with each player, and that's the perfect way to start a YouTube video, isn't it? That's how I was told. To make a good YouTube video is tell everybody about how depressed they're about to be and all the unsuccessful statistics and give them that to walk away feeling miserable. That's the perfect way to get a YouTube video going positively in the algorithm. So let's get going, shall we? Stefan Ortega. Only really, very little to talk about really from him. He did let the goal in, of course, which is nothing to do with him. 90 minutes played, 45 touches, 86.1% passing accuracy, 3 saves, which is decent, 0 key passes, 1 high claim, 0 punches and 1 run out. I thought he did all right. One of the higher numbers I've given, which is pretty damning, isn't it? Only giving him a 7, but I think he did okay, Stefan Ortega. So I've given him a 7. Now then, we're on to the other players. Now, Rico Lewis, I think he has to hold his hands up. And I think a lot that number why it's dropped so to a 6. You come on with a 6, and if you do things well for the team, you go up. If you do things poorly, you go down. The goal is where his score has really dropped because that was poor defending. And there is no stat for that. You know, there's no stat for letting the ball go underneath your legs in a position where you should be crossing it. There is no stat for that. Not that I can put onto a graphic like this and genuinely give you some real insight as to what went on in that particular moment, but that goal was Rico Lewis's fault. He has to do something in that situation. As that ball comes across, you have to assume someone's behind you and clear your lines, even if you end up slicing it into your own net. The likeliness is if you leave it, it's going to end up in your own net anyway. So make an attempt to clear it in that situation. I'm sure he'll come away learning that lesson. 89 touches, played the full 90, 86.4% passing accuracy, 0 key passes, a tackle and interception, which is good. Good bit of defensive work there. 0 shots on target with the 2 that he took. I remember the second one near the end of the game. That was a good effort, just past the post that was. And he was dispossessed. So there's a new stat. Get used to seeing that in this particular video. So I've given him a 6. Sergio Gomez, 90 minutes. He played 2 different roles. First half, he was much further advanced up the pitch. Second half, a little bit more restrained and had to drop into a traditional left-back position, which I've really been quite damning towards Sergio Gomez in past videos, talking about his defensive ability. I do think he's weak in defence, but he did all right in the second half. Okay. Nothing brilliant, but okay. 82 touches, 84.6% passing accuracy, a key pass, 2 tackles, a clearance. There's your defensive work, doing a good job. Unsuccessful touches. Concentration needs to be switched on. 4 unsuccessful touches isn't good enough. 1 dribble, which is good, not bad. 6.5 I've given Sergio Gomez. Plenty more to come from him. I want to see more from him, but not the worst performance. Akanji, I thought he did reasonably well. 90 minutes, and I think Pep said it himself. He didn't want him to play 90 minutes. He wanted to rest him, but his hand was forced. Had to play the full 90. 96 touches, 87.6% passing accuracy, 0 key passes, 2 tackles, an interception, 0 clearances, and a block shot. A good defensive performance, not bad at all, so I've given him a 7. Gvardiol, I thought he was our best defender. Everything that seemed to come his way dealt with very, very accomplished as well, and I think we're starting to see little glimpses of Gvardiol really starting to find his feet with a City shirt on. I'm really looking forward to seeing where he can go from here, and I see him as an absolute mainstay in this City team, and it's just another fantastic option of centre-backs that we've got, and he's really finding his feet. I'm really looking forward to seeing where Gvardiol can go. 93.5% passing accuracy, 0 key passes, couldn't really affect the game going forward, but 4 clearances, really good. 0 interceptions, 2 aerial duels won, which is good, and a block shot. Thought he was good, 7.5. Ake, good again. That passing accuracy is so good, so reliable. 98.1% passing accuracy. You know, brilliant. Only played the 67 minutes though because he had to come off, which is I think an indication of he's probably going to play against Wolves. He also is injury prone as well, so maybe it was a case of he might not play against Wolves, but it was more of a protection from the fact that his previous minutes have been so high. 61 touches, 1 key pass, 3 tackles, 3 clearances, 0 interceptions and 0 block shots. So I've given him a 7. Kalvin Phillips. Let's have a look. Is he to blame? No, absolutely not. He is. I saw plenty of people coming to me in the chat yesterday during the watch along, which was great, by the way. Really enjoyed doing the watch along. Come along for the Wolves game this weekend. I will be doing a watch along. Hopefully, I can provide you with insight similar to this. 129 touches. The second most touches in the team was Gvardiol with 101 touches. There he is with 129 touches. So, doing the Rodri role very, very well. A lot of the ball was coming through him. 129 touches. Everything came through him. And it's not like he's giving it away either, because 91.1% passing accuracy, they're Rodri figures. Go back and look at my previous player rating videos, and they're Rodri figures. So he's not giving it away. People said you want to see more creativity from him. So they've got a point in the sense that, yeah, he's not creating anything, key passes. But the clue's in the name. Defensive midfielder. That's his job. That is his first and foremost priority, you know? Defensive. Let's look at his defensive work. Tackles, 2. Interceptions, 1. And a clearance, 1. Good. That's good defensive work. He was dispossessed twice, though, which is an area of his game that has bothered me. And being dispossessed in defensive midfield is an even bigger problem, because being dispossessed further up the pitch, you expect that from your attacking players, because it's a tough task to beat a player. Dribbling is a hard aspect of the game. Having the ball stolen from you in defensive midfield is a problem. We can't have that. Rodri is dispossessed virtually never, you know, and if he is, he normally mops it up himself. I've got the second half, and I don't want to give him too many excuses, but the second half was a tough ask for Kalvin Phillips, because he had to manage the job on his own as a single pivot. In the first half, he looked much better because Rico Lewis was inverting and sitting alongside Kalvin Phillips, and Rodri's afforded that same protection. You know, Rodri has to sit alongside, so far this season we've seen him sit alongside Kovacic, even Kalvin Phillips has come on. Nunez has played alongside Rodri. Last season we saw Rico Lewis, like he did last night, tuck in alongside Kalvin Phillips. Rico Lewis has done that with Rodri. John Stones tucked inside alongside Rodri last season for pretty much the final third of last season. So Rodri's had someone alongside him, which makes your job infinitely easier as a defensive midfielder in a double pivot. In the second half, go and watch it back, Kalvin Phillips was on his own in defensive midfield. He was on his own, and Rico Lewis, probably under instructions, was playing in a traditional right-back position. So it's an incredibly difficult task on your own. And I don't think Kalvin Phillips has got the legs to do that job on his own. He needs someone alongside him. But yeah, I think there were moments in the game where he was dispossessed a little bit too easily. But as well, he was flattening people as well. He needs to be careful with some of those tackles, because he got himself booked. It was an orange card, wasn't it? Because he went flying in. I think it was Jacob Murphy, and he crunched the top of his foot. Needs to be careful. I don't think he was that bad. I don't think he was that good. You know, there were mistakes in his game, but they were certainly not to blame. Absolutely not. Wait till I get to Jack Grealish, and then you'll see some stats. 6.5 for Kalvin Phillips, which is bordering on harsh, to be honest. But anyway, Kovacic, I think he was worse. I don't think he was as good. I think he had one of his bad games, probably his worst game in a City shirt, just back from injury, so I'm giving him an excuse. He only played the 67 minutes, and he got 67 touches, so 1 touch per minute, which is odd. 88.7% passing accuracy. That's okay, not bad at all. Key pass, good. Tackle, good. He had a shot, not on target. Unsuccessful touches, 2. And he didn't dribble past anybody, no beating anybody, which has been a strong point to his game this season. But there were times where he was giving it away in dangerous areas as well. And you want to see him protect Kalvin Phillips. So the link-up play of Kalvin Phillips and the combination of Kalvin Phillips and Kovacic, I don't think it looked very good. We didn't look that solid in midfield, in the second half in particular. So I've given Kovacic a 6. Because I don't think he had his best game. I think he was below his very, very high standards, and I think it stood out yesterday, more so than Kalvin Phillips. And I know that's going to ruffle a few feathers, and quite frankly, I don't care, because I don't think he played as well as Kalvin Phillips. Not much worse, but I think Kalvin Phillips is being hard done by here, and I've got the stats to prove it. Jack Grealish. Let's jump straight into it, shall we? In fact, let's not, because there's 2 ends to Jack Grealish's game. 90-minute match, he played all 90 minutes, 100% passing accuracy. That is ball retention of the highest standard. That's incredible. 69 touches, so it's not like he didn't have enough of the ball to give it away. He was keeping the ball very well from a passing point of view. 3 key passes, bit of creativity there, trying to pose a bit of a threat, decent. A tackle. Now, when you say keeping the ball, unsuccessful touches, 4. Dispossessed, 4. That is atrocious. That's not good enough. That's not just concentration, that's just... that's unacceptable from his position. Really poor figures he's putting up on the board there. Dribbles, 0. We want to see him beat a player once in a while, don't we? He had that shot in the second half, which was a punt, really, a bit of a hopeful effort from about 28, 30 yards out, straight down the throat of Nick Pope. He needs to do more, Jack Grealish. He needs to do more. We can't just have players coming on, he keeps the ball really well. From a passing point of view, yeah, he keeps it, passing-wise. He didn't give it away once from a pass, but he was dispossessed 4 times against Livramento, who was like finding his feet in a Newcastle shirt. And he made Livramento look like a world-class fullback, which I don't think he is. He's a good player, but Jack Grealish should be beating him. You know, fresh from an injury, Livramento. And Livramento pocketed him, really. Look at that. Dispossessed 4 times. I've got to give him a 5.5. Need more from Jack Grealish. Oscar Bob, man of the match. Let's talk a bit of positives now, shall we? 90 minutes played. 50 touches, 86.8% passing accuracy, really good. He was given 2 roles, drifting in and out, and eventually when Alvarez came off, he even went into the false 9, which actually probably harmfully impacted his game because he was seeing less of the ball in those final 15 minutes or so. But 2 key passes, 2 tackles, 3 dribbles, and then I want to highlight the same thing. Unsuccessful touches, 0, dispossessed, 0. That's what you need, Jack Grealish, because he's getting plenty of touches, that's what you need. And he could have come away with assists as well, Oscar Bob. Alvarez, if he found his shooting boots yesterday, 2 chances. One in particular that was a good save from Nick Pope, an outstretched right foot boot, got a little clip on it to knock it out for a corner. Then one that Oscar Bob sent round the corner to Alvarez. Again, a really cute angle for Alvarez to score from, but he should be hitting the target there because he booted it out for a throw-in. So, Oscar Bob, really good game. More to come from him. I'm not sure he's going to be playing every game, of course, because we've got players that are better of him and more experienced ahead of him. But it's good to know we've got a player that can come on and put a 90-minute performance away at St James's Park like that. Really good from Oscar Bob. 8 out of 10, man of the match for him. Julian Alvarez, not his greatest game, in truth. I don't think that passing accuracy is poor. 72 minutes, 30 touches, so he didn't really have much impact in the game. I've already referenced, there's your shots and shots on target. 2 with the 2 that I've just mentioned. 1 of them on target. Good save from Nick Pope, but that second finish was, he needs to be hitting the target there. 1 key pass, 2 unsuccessful touches, a tackle and a clearance. So not bad, but I need to see more from Alvarez. It's those 2 chances, really, is why his score's so low. Because it really, if he puts them in the back of the net, we're in the next round, really, aren't we? Because that first half was dominant, really dominant from City. Very, very good first half performance. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I just think we capitulated for 10 minutes at the start of the second half. But had Alvarez bagged those chances, it would have been a completely different game. And that passing accuracy as well isn't good enough. So 6.5 for Alvarez. Doku came on, 23 minutes, 36 touches, 87.5% passing accuracy, a key pass, 0 tackles. I've put that in because every game he's played so far, he's had a minimum of 1 tackle, which is not a statistic you'd want to associate with him. But he's doing a defensive job normally, less so yesterday. He was dispossessed once. He had no unsuccessful touches, by the way, which is a stat I can't put on there. I want to see him try and get into goal shooting opportunities a little bit better, but no shots on target. 2 dribbles, that is his game. 1 standout moment where he rinsed Livramento, the player that Jack Grealish had been struggling against all game, and in the 23 minutes Doku was on the pitch, he beat him twice. That's what Jack Grealish needs to at least be trying to do, because I don't know. I think Doku did okay. He had a small little window to come onto the pitch to actually impact the game. Couldn't, unfortunately, but the stats weren't bad. Okay, 6.5 for Doku. Nunes, another mixed substitute performance. 23 minutes, 32 touches, 90% passing accuracy, which is good. A key pass, trying to create some opportunities. He was positive. I thought his movement forward was good. He tried to create something and be brave to try and get into the final third and just, try and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think that's what resulted in him being dispossessed 3 times, because he was trying so forcefully to get the ball forward. And you're going to see those stats. If you're trying the audacious, you're going to give the ball away. You know, Kevin De Bruyne's passing accuracy isn't the highest, but that's because he's trying the killer ball every time. The hardest pass you can possibly think of, Kevin De Bruyne attempts it. And that's why his stats aren't as high for a passing accuracy point of view. But when it comes off, goal, or at least a clear opportunity to score a goal. And I get that same vibe off Núñez. He attempts things, which I like. Defensively good, interception, came on, intercepted the ball once, dispossessed 3 times and beat a player once. 6.5 for Núñez. And finally, Phil Foden really struggled to impact the game, had the least amount of minutes out of everybody. 18 minutes he played, 9 touches, 100% passing accuracy, which is good. Very little to talk about really for Phil Foden. So passing accuracy 100%, very good, not bad. 0 key passes, a tackle, good. Unsuccessful touches, yeah, needs to improve on that. Shots, couldn't affect the game, didn't beat anybody. 6 for Phil Foden. But I think the narrative here is Kalvin Phillips is absolutely not to blame. I think the team performance was a little bit lacklustre in that we lost the game for 15 minutes of poor play. And credit to Newcastle, because they came out on fire in that second half, and it took us by surprise, and we were hit by that surprise. We were hit hard, 1-0 down, and then they reverted back to the same system that they played in the first half, but we lacked that creativity in the second half. Even in the first half, there wasn't that much creativity. There was only the 2 Alvarez chances to speak of, but a disappointing night, not the most disappointing performance. I don't think we need to be all doom and gloom right now because of this performance. I really don't think it's the case at all, and I do think we need to be mindful that Kalvin Phillips is not to blame for this result. Absolutely not. Complete nonsense coming out from some City fans, and I hate the idea of a scapegoat, because if you're going to do that, if you're going to start picking on players, let's pick on all of them. You know, like this, like I've done. Let's have a look at everybody, shall we? Because Kalvin Phillips is part of the City team. He's not a rival. He plays for City. He puts on the blue shirt, crosses the white line, and plays with everybody else. So let's compare him to everybody else. And statistically, I've proven he was not to blame. Absolutely not. It was a team flaw yesterday in that 15 minutes, attitude-wise, and I think leadership is a key factor, is what went wrong yesterday. There wasn't a leader on that pitch to really grab the game by the scruff of the neck and say, we are under pressure right now. Let's ride this storm, get through this storm from Newcastle in the first 15 minutes, and then we'll play our game again. There was no leader on the pitch to do that, and that's what cost us yesterday, I think. And Pep had to play those players from a rotation point of view, so that's my player ratings anyway. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Please do. It really does help with the algorithm. And get your comments in below. What do you think of your player ratings? Do you still think Kalvin Phillips is to blame? Do you want him out in January, which I've seen a lot of people say, which is harsh? Get your comments in below. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.